The Corona Chamber. This. I I guess I've seen one or two other CTM maps that have like cutscene like things associated with them. But I never saw anything like this, and it was pretty awesome and unexpected. So I really like the way that it's set up. I think Later Night Gamer didn't get a chance to see it, and I think it's because he had just turned his render distance down to 2. Is it the case that you have command blocks up inside the top of the volcano that detect
Uh,
closeness detection, I think? I think I saw command blocks up
mm,
there at some point.
there are command blocks on there. No, there's a different reason why that happened to him. For some reason, almost every string, like the tripwire
Yes, the
string,
tripwires were
got
just.
broken.
Yeah.
And how this works, if you go into F3,
Uh-huh.
you see these spawners in the wall with the trigger with the tripwire under them, and that is what triggers them.
Oh, wow. I did
And
not.
then
Okay, it was such a low tech okay thing. And since his tripwires were broken, then the tripwires didn't set it off. Okay.
because I find this way better than just plopping a command block down on 20 fix per second. This is like way less lag inducing, even though it is like a really small thing.
Okay.
But it places a redstone block inside the volcano itself. Like
Right. Yeah, I remember seeing stuff up here, and so I guess I
yeah,
didn't. Yeah, see exactly where the redstone block got.
Whoop.
I see you up there.
It's this is like I think this is the only messy redstone or command block stuff.
Hmm.
This map. Like it looks really messy.
And did this basically just spawn a bunch of falling span with velocities that are fire, basically?
Yep, I can. Let me try to quickly explain this. So the redstone block gets copied over here,
Hmm.
and then it triggers this long line of redstone, which is just the it goes on, and then when this whole line is finished, the whole contraption is turned off again.
Yep. So basically, you just
So
have a timer that runs it for 20 seconds or something.
Mhm. So this part over here turns it on, just gets put on and gets put off. Then it will copy all the lava from the actual volcano
Right.
melting,
Right.
and it
Forgot about that.
also updates them because when I fill the lava over there,
Oh, it just
it
ends
isn't
up
updated.
floating lava, basically. Yeah.
It's stationary, and then it also triggers this small thing, which is what activates the whole kit. Oh yeah, I need to put this one off. So you see it flashing,
Yep.
and there are two layers for ED1, and it summons the TNT, which is this one,
Hmm.
and then all the fire, which is this one. And I remember I
I
put
see.
some
And so
lava.
for the random scattering, you're using an actual TNT explosion to send the box flying in
Mhm.
different directions, different speeds.
Yep.
Got
And
it.
there used to be lava in there as well, but that should cost way more lag. And can you please shut up? And what it also does is like these separate ones over here are nope. Oops. It also summons some TNT underground near the player, so it feels like the ground under
I
him
see. And you
is
get the
rumbling.
booms, and yeah.
And there's a little bit under here as well for extra effect, and it also summons the particles because there are like particles coming from above. Because otherwise, you would see literally nothing above here, and then so you hear all the rumbling and there's nothing going on, and then
Hmm.
instantly fire goes down. But now instead, you at least have like the smoke things going on.
I see. Yeah. When you put it
But
all together, it ends up being, yeah, a really cool effect.
something with this is it kind of reminds me of Valve's like Valve, like Half-Life One are all these small set pieces just put in sequence, and this is like one of those set pieces basically. And
Hmm.
I didn't want this to be in combat just for people with bad PCs,
Right.
just worse spec
Yep.
PCs. Like even on my PC, this still lags because of the fire updates.
Right, yeah, the fire especially, just because it's doing lighting updates and block updates in the trees and different things. Unfortunately, what was lost on me at this point, and I didn't kind of put this together with the rest, and some of it is the fact that, especially if you get rid of the lava sources, the one or two lava sources and the one or two pieces of gravel earlier in the map, that this does really become kind of like your first access to anything fiery.
Hmm.
And so while after this happened, then when I got into the very entrance over here and it had the gravel and it had the flint inside, um, like I got the idea that, okay, things have changed, that now I can actually get flint for arrows. But it didn't occur to me the flint is also flint for fire, and it's the fact that it's the corona of the volcano and now fire is here is the reason that, thematically it kind of like is tied together.
And also, what that redstone block does, it removes a redstone block at
Back at
the
the monument
spawn.
spawned, yeah.
Yeah, which removes all the fire charges because blazes drop those as like rare drops.
I see. So
And
they just always had that in the loot table, and then most of the time it just immediately got destroyed, just like
hmm
the flints.
yep, and the flint from from everywhere.
All
And then
right.
I showed you in a chest a piece of
Yes, having the
flint.
flint in the
Just
center is what
and
sealed
then
it.
with all the
Gravel.
feathers, I was about to say arrows.
Hmm. The only
I
thing.
want to say like I know you want to like I know you want to have all these flints
Yep.
and here you go. Let me put on a light real quick.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I understood the kind of I know you want to and having flint. And the only thing that, I don't know, the other thing that lessened it for me is the first Infinity Bow came back in the Primeval Woods. And so I did want it, but I don't need it anymore.
Mm.
So thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I should have maybe
It's a
not
trade
given
off.
out. I kind of like the idea of being starved for arrows because
I do too. I
bow
feel
and
like a bow and arrow
arrows
is it's
is really OP in
too
this game.
OP, especially at the beginning. Like I would like it if there's some portion of the map where you don't have bow and arrow. I would like it if there's some portion of the map where you don't have a stone pick. Um, yeah, those are things that I like it. If you have to be deprived of, and in this map, like honestly, like there were a lot of chests with arrows or whatever, and so while basically it didn't starve you, it just kind of it made you hungry for them.
Mhm. And then there's a lot of gravel behind here, just harping back on the resources matter,
Right?
like giving out stuff
Yeah.
because you can. And then you have this small magma chamber, which is under the volcano. And then it's like a really small room, well, for my standards, you know.
Yes. Uh huh.
And then this is basically the magma chamber, which I was talking about.
Right.
And then you defeat this thing, and then you have this like this grand reveal with like, oh yeah, now the fun is about to start. Like the map is now going to get harder.
Right. Um, and yeah, there was an emerald hidden over here. It harkened back to I think it was Emerald number 3 and Myriad Caves. Kind of felt like
Oh
a
yeah.
similar thing of walking through the lava. But yeah, it
It's
seems
kind
like
of
people found it just fine.
that's kind of like the thing behind the waterfall. If you have like a lava cave or water cave down below, and
Right.
it goes down somewhere out of view, and you can't just see the wall of it,
Right.
and yeah, it screams secret to me.
Um, let's see. Yeah, and the combat supplies are kind of improving through here.
Mhm.
Um,
Loot at this point is like really, you're almost drowning in loot.
yeah,
So
yeah. You don't have
if
diamond tier stuff, but you've got plenty of everything else.
then that comes later on, but you will keep on getting like an F ton of it.
Hmm.
Hey. And that is basically for if you're really bad at this game and you keep on dying and
Right.
dying and dying, you at least have quite a bit of
Replacement.
stuff
Yep.
to fall back on.
Yeah, and that's the typical map maker thing of you have to plan for the people who are struggling and who go through multiple inventory wipes to
So
be able
if
to
we
recover. But yeah, I guess I got rid of the pigman spawners that were kind of like in the start of the area. Um, you chose obviously to use non-hostile pigmen, which I'm very thankful for. And I've been surprised. I haven't seen anybody accidentally hit the pigmen or maybe once. Like, I haven't seen as many pigman fights as I was kind of expecting.
Hmm.
From having them in the area and from having a lot of good swords, and so there were still a number of people using swords that I watched. It seems like get into this area. I was using
So
an
so
axe, but
when you come into this area, there's another one of those creeper tripwire things, and it will make this place evening. So you have this red glow when you first come in as well to give you more
oh,
of a
got it.
volcano
So that
effect.
basically the time of day, if you render, if you're playing in either multiplayer and the back wall doesn't render, or if you're playing in single player with a render distance of somewhere in the order of 10 to 12.
Hmm. I mostly balance around 16.
I see. It's a tough call because as a map maker, like it depends on whether you think people are going to play single player or multiplayer. Because if it's multiplayer, I feel like you have to balance for a render distance of 10, which is pretty limiting.
I actually while updating the map, I just set in the rules because I'm set on removing the stamina thing. So the extra
Hmm.
rule book thing,
Right, gets
I'm
shorter.
also it gets way short because I also am removing the thing about like custom mobs dropping stuff
Got
to
it.
keep
Okay.
spawners
Hmm.
because I feel that kind of speaks for itself because you find
Yeah.
the gold golem and you're like, oh, he drops coal.
Right. And the
Oh,
spawner
hey,
is like
okay.
it's in a box that's decorated all different, and yeah, I feel like it's all very obvious. And we talked way back at the beginning that yeah, the less you can have to have people read, and the more that is just implicit in the nature of the map is good.
So the second page of that book now says that and a server render distance is like recommend of like as high as possible, and I put around 16 to 20 because that I mean that is kind of high,
Yeah.
but I've like for a server render distance, I mean that's different than your local render distance that you can just switch around if you're lagging.
Hmm.
Like the server render distance,
I mean,
I
that's a lot of network
feel.
traffic.
I mean, is it really that high?
I don't
I
know.
mean, if the player isn't loading it, that's also the thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah,
Yeah, I honestly I don't think I've ever tried turning up a server render distance that high. Um, but yeah, I
yeah.
mean I remember
What?
Realm started at 9 and then they eventually upped it at 10, and so I figured if Microsoft servers were having trouble servicing everybody,
Oh, only
uh,
10.
10 is the default, and Realms originally didn't even have it that high.
10. I mean, 16 is far, like far render
Yeah,
distance. I mean, I found 10 like that's short.
yeah, I
I
agree
mean,
that
I
it's
think
short. I
it's.
play at 12 usually, and that's mostly because a lot of what I play is bingo, and 12 is about the most that my machine can handle on bingo because you're always generating chunks into new
Uh,
randomly generated terrain, and so that's a real limiting factor.
okay.
Um, but yeah, in any case, there's a definitely huge tension in terms of both people's PCs as well as potentially network issues, and they can create potential limitations for map makers in terms of the visuals that they want to create for the player, and so it's tough to call. And yeah, so I was disappointed because yeah, LNG had just come into this area and he had turned his render distance down to 2 because he was having, I don't know, some kind of issues, and I was like, oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, that kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
But yeah, War recommended doing that because in Death Shade, like you couldn't see the whole thing on this on the server.
Right. And yeah, I guess it'll be interesting when I see it out here to see what it looks like. Um, but yeah, definitely 10 versus 12 here. Like I'm looking at 10, and obviously you can see the sun uh, on the edge right now. And I don't think I think I had, yeah, kind of fog and darkness towards the back when I originally came in at a render distance of 12.
Hmm.
Yeah, now I can see the back wall already. So it's only like 13 chunks away from the
Yeah.
entrance or something. Anyway, that was long-winded
Tangent.
tangent, but it's these things that as a map maker you always have to think about.
That makes this interesting, right?
Yeah. You put 2 layers of coal around the record disk over here. Was it because you
Yeah.
knew the coal was going to burn?
Not necessarily. I just felt like this place is like pretty big,
Hmm.
so you probably needed some more light, so more coal.
Okay.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
And then the last music disc.
Right. Or the second to last if you missed one because you're a dummy.
You dummy.
And I don't even remember what this one had on it. I remember it was chirp, but I don't remember.
This is the fire one. You
I
can
see.
indirectly one-shot things by just hitting it away from you and
Right,
just
and
letting
then
it
letting it burn to death.
burn to death.
Okay. Yeah.
So I found that pretty fitting for like the last one, especially with this terrain. You can just hit everything away and just
Well, you can't hit
it
everything
will.
away because some things like magma cubes aren't going to burn. So
Yeah,
that's the
okay.
other. It's like a trade-off. Like you get into here, and it's like, oh, I can kill everything with fire, except for half the things that are in here are blazes and magma cubes, and they don't care about the fire.
At least you have the natural spawns
Yeah,
uh, to get rid of.
yeah. Um,
And
let's see. I didn't I'd spend a lot of time with Orbolt's torch, just kind of like looking at the ceiling of this place to see all the cool obsidian spikes and things hanging down.
mhm.
Um, I don't know. Is there any? I'm not looking very carefully at them, but is it just like, is there like some kind of cone rotation transform you do to create them all, or are they hand created, or?
They're done with a world edit thing. It's CS build spike, and then you put in some variables.
I
Well,
see.
I botched that up for like the width, the length, and the block type.
I see. Okay. So basically procedurally generated, and it was very easy to create a bunch of
Yeah.
different ones at different angles.
I mainly map with MC edit and world edit slash voxel snipe on like a private server,
Hmm.
and then sometimes I get visitors on there.
All right. The terrain here, yeah, very noisy in terms of the nature of the terrain, and I feel like noise plus netherrack, like I don't know, maybe some of it is just me thinking about like Ribbons of Pain in Vex's Nightmare
Nightmare.
Realms,
Yeah.
or maybe it's the fact that netherrack isn't very blast resistant, and so every time a creeper or a ghast explodes, like it ends up becoming a very noisy kind of texture all around. Um, but I and maybe it's the fact that nethery kind of stuff typically comes late in CTM maps where things are getting harder. But I feel like I kind of like associate them together, and so this was for me anyway. It was kind of like a good use of bad associations to make me realize that this area was going to be hard and difficult terrain.
It's like you instantly get this horrible terrain, and yeah, immediately the nether slash fire theme
Mm-hmm.
was meant to say like, oh, you're going to have a bad time. And I was kind of scared of this area having a too rough of a difficulty curve from
Mm-hmm.
the previous area, and compared to the deeper darker that did, I think.
Right. That's true.
But yeah, I need to drop the ball or shoe sometime.
Yeah, and yeah, you also, I mean, you had a sign in front of this one that was a non-sarcastic sign that, like now the real fun begins. And I mean, it's also the case. I remember the first time I came in here, I think I was standing on the lava blocks for a minute, or magmic blocks, or whatever they're called, and forgot about the fact that they cause fire damage. But the player has access to fire resist potions at this point. And there's obviously magma cube spawners around in case they need more ingredients to get them, and so that is a huge piece of leverage that players can choose to use or not use to make the area a whole lot easier.
Yep, I was kind of teaching the player like, oh, look at all this fire. Do you have something for it? And even if you didn't like, you saw the nether wart or lost it somehow or whatever, there's
Right.
even like a second
Right, yeah, that had
second
all the
method.
ingredients in the potion stands and nether wart, and yeah, down in that chest.
And
Yep.
that goes even the same for the enchanting table, as you get a second
Right.
batch of that as well.
Yep.
And even for the bookshelves as well, if you
Yeah,
didn't
then you
get
got
all
all
the
the, and the bookshelves,
bookshelves.
the extra bookshelves then also turned into books, which you didn't have before, which you could
Hmm.
enchant in order to go after getting sharpness on an axe, for example, that you otherwise would have to have custom loot for. I saw Warren Kit discovered that there's a chest in here that I'd missed, and it's kind of obvious in retrospect, because the lava was flowing down onto something.
Yep.
Hey, good save. And it was kind of good. I mean, it was like all the Duragold stuff and 3 golden apples, and I think War was like, "I'll take the golden apples."
Hmm. Always put some
Yeah,
other just residual
consumable,
stuff.
useful stuff, so that even if people don't like the loot, yeah, we talked about that
Yeah.
last time. Yep, so that's good.
Um,
And other than that,
There were
Um,
2 diamond swords in here. Like you found one of them. You found Blaze Fury, I think.
yeah, that
Or Blaze Fury.
sounds
Oh yeah, here it was.
okay.
So you found Blaze Fury, which was
Mm-hmm.
over here, with the
Got
4
it.
pigment spawners under it.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
there is one at the opposite side. So over
Okay.
here.
I'm following you. Okay.
Let me see. Oh yeah, it's over here.
I saw you and then you disappeared.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, there's a little hallway here. Okay.
I was hoping like just the darkness that would shine out. You would notice it. Yeah,
Aurora.
just another one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's very fitting because I was just about to say I feel like I found all the stuff in this area. So I still missed that one.
You're never going to find everything. And yeah, just this area also has like a lot of pretty good loot.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the diamond swords and stuff, it is really good for just coming in here, and all the diamonds as well. Like the risk and reward just both just jump up,
Yep.
which is nice.
Yeah. The chest up in the ceiling that I just went up to, I forgot what was up in there. Apparently I emptied it.
Inferno cutter. It was one of the weapons that was originally going to be a myriad, but never made it in there.
I see. And was that another axe?
Another one of the diamond axes.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I like those diamond axes. And yeah, I feel like this was a really good wool gauntlet kind of area. The fact I still have one of these spawners intact, so these guys. I just realized these guys don't have a name. I guess it would be hard to see since they're on fire, and so like the fire would kind of cut through the custom name.
It's because they're invisible.
Oh,
Good
I see. You'd have to put them if you put them on the same team as the player, then they wouldn't attack the player. So yeah,
Wait.
you'd have to have something riding it, and then
Do
give
they
that
really?
thing a name if you wanted to have like have an invisible armor stand ride or something. I don't know if you wanted to give it a name.
Do they really? Like,
Do what really?
if you put them on the same team as a player, they won't attack that
Yeah.
player? Oh my god, that sounds cool. I control the... Oh my god, I control people! Yes!
I mean, yeah, tacos and corn dogs, I guess that's another way that you could do it. But,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
tacos and corn dogs, the creepers still run at you and the spiders still run at you. They just don't do any damage. Whereas if you're on the same team, I think they just stay in wander mode and they don't even target you.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember the
Actually-
details, but...
I should put all the mobs on like on a team and put myself on it as well.
that could be handy while you're mapping.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, if you want
My-
to be really mean, you could have all the
God.
mobs on a team and then, like, once every 20 minutes for 30 seconds, put the player on that team. If you have some kind of area that's supposed to be, you know, like you're going mentally insane or something kind of thing, that could be fun. I don't know.
My heart map. Just wait for that.
So in any case, these guys who shoot fire arrows at you and seem to have a very long targeting range, so they can see you from a long distance away and they spawn from a long distance away, having them kind of all around the rim while you're trying at some point to build over to the gas spawners in the center, which seemed like they were spawning pretty frequently. I don't know if that was actually the case.
No, only 2 spawners.
Okay,
Or-
it was just
wait,
2
two?
spawners. They had extra
Yeah,
range,
2.
possibly, maybe? Like,
Yeah,
you talked about the
32.
fact that usually only 1 gas spawn, but I saw 2 gas spawning.
There was one under and one above.
Right.
I may have actually put it on 2, but I think I put it on 1,
Okay.
if I remember correctly.
I thought I saw in Warren kits that they were spawning 2 at a time. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, basically I felt like this made it a challenging wool area, and it really was going to force you to either, you know, blitz or use an ender pearl to get up on top really quickly, or be exceedingly lucky and or brave with fire resist potion to build out quickly, or to do the kind of job that I was going for, but I realized now I left like a few of these spawners intact, which was basically to kind of go around the outside, break a few of the spawners, reduce the number of spawns that were happening all at once, and then kind of move your way in to get up there.
Like like you can easily just ender pearl in and get the job done that way. You can also get above and water bucket down. What you can also do is go via the spike, is what I think you did.
Yes.
And yeah, I intended people, like the main way for people to bridge from here. When they had gone around the whole outer rim.
Mm.
But yeah, this was meant to make the player like think like, how can I approach this
Yeah. And you do this in a couple places of the map where it was kind of like you have a
in the
target that's
open?
hanging out in midair, and you're going to have to build a little
Mhm.
bit to get to it. But there's a few different choices that you can use, and I feel like that's appropriate for late areas of the map where things are going to be challenging.
Mhm.
And yeah, I felt like it was, for the most part, I enjoyed watching people attack this area.
And I also like that the skeletons with the extended range, they kind of feel like how skeletons used to be, where you can actually dodge the arrows. Like on
I
flat terrain,
see. Yeah,
those
and
guys are really
definitely,
fun.
yeah, and also the fact they have fire arrows, like it's easier to see the arrows coming at you, I think, and so it is a little bit more possible to dodge them that way too.
Hmm. And then
And
yeah,
then
the
let's see,
emerald
there was
goes
an
over
emerald
here,
hidden down here, right?
in between your way forward and the red wool area. I was hoping players would find this
Hmm.
quickly.
And I
Yeah,
think,
after seeing that loot chests, then you would be like, oh, where's this lava stream going? And then you would see it.
yep. And yeah, I think that's exactly what happened for me. This area was also extremely well protected. I forget, was this the other potions, or no? This was something else, wasn't
This
it?
was the super sniper.
Oh, that's right, super sniper.
Super
So if
sniper.
anyone did lose one of their early good bows in the lava that had infinity, then you had your own nice. I guess Super Sniper. Right, Super Sniper didn't have infinity though, did it?
No, it didn't.
And did it come in a chest with 2 stacks of arrows? I don't think it does. I think it was just
Uh,
2 Super Sniper and 2 golden apples.
I remember it did in Miri, but I don't remember if it did in this
I
one.
would double check that if you want to make a note, because I feel
Uh,
like
let me put it
I
in
feel
there.
like possibly someone found this chest and they had a weak infinity bow and they didn't trade it out for Super Sniper because they didn't have any arrows
Oh,
to go with it.
then it was. Yeah, then probably didn't. Probably only had the golden apples. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would add the arrows so that uh,
Yeah. Let
people
me
don't
put
end
that
up ignoring what's otherwise a good piece of loot.
arrows. Super sniper. Okay. And then we go down.
Yeah, and so yeah, there were lots of bad guys in here, and yeah, magma cubes and blazes all kind of funneling down into this area. I remember it being pretty fraught when I was trying to conquer this area, but then yeah, when it's originally here, you obviously can see like a wall of diamonds over here, and I ended up yeah like running in here just to kind of like hide and catch my breath. And I think I probably said it was probably going to be a trap, but I just like started mining the diamonds, I guess.
You did anyway.
Yeah. And there's an explosion, but then is there also command blocks that erase part of it, or is it all
It,
just TNT?
it's all TNT set off at once, and it's like 5 pieces in like a star or something, or
I
seven
see.
or nine.
Basically, with that much TNT, I'm impressed that you managed to always have it so cleanly expose the entrance.
It's it's really carefully placed, and it's also netherrack,
I
which
see.
is
Very high blast
solo blast
resistance, or
resistant.
yeah,
The
low
s-
blast resistance. Yeah,
And the same apparently goes for nether wart as well.
got it.
Like they both do their job in this.
I see.
Sometimes some diamond ore stays here, but I don't
Yeah,
really
there
care
was one
about it.
piece of diamond ore with mine, and I think I saw 1 or 2 pieces with Warren Kit as well.
Yeah, I don't
But
like
this is another place where I feel like as a map maker, like you're taking a risk because this is the way forward in the map, and it's completely hidden until you
it.
choose to fall into the trap, as it were. Um,
Yeah, and that is when you actually detect the trap and actually are dismantling it,
mhm.
and you go for all the redstone, you will still like the redstone is actually exposed over here. So even if you are dismantling the trap,
Mhm.
so you're called Overbolt because yeah, he finds every trap,
Okay,
and then you will still find this hallway.
got it.
Like if this stays hidden, yeah, then I
Got
had some
it. All
problems.
right, so that's well designed. Um,
It's
but yeah,
wall designed.
ha ha ha, well
I
designed.
should leave.
Um, but every player that I've seen has triggered it either intentionally or unintentionally or whatever. And the only thing that's kind of bad is that for the normal person who triggers it and then hears TNT go off, is your tendency is to run back this way. And I think I turned around in time that I like got it on camera that it went boom and then all of a sudden there's a hallway there. But you lose potentially the visual of actually, seeing an explosion followed by holy crap, there's a whole new tunnel over here. And I don't have any good solution to that, and so I don't have anything to suggest differently. But it was just one of the things that I was thinking about in terms of this type of design.
Um, yeah, I don't know if the explosion really matters that much to it. But yeah, I think that's just opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, even if you miss the explosion and you turn around and now there's a hallway there that wasn't there before, it's
mm-hmm.
still pretty cool.
And you're like, wait, what? What is this?